the Director of Admissions and Tuition Assistance here, and with me is...
I'm Leahy. I'm the Associate Director of Admissions.
And
I'm Lisa Spolter, and I'm the Assistant Director of Admissions.
And we've got another episode of Zoom at Noon going. Today we're chatting just a little bit about the admissions process and the admissions timeline, and a little bit more just basically about the school. So welcome. It's very good to have you on board for the second in our series. We'll talk a little bit later about what's upcoming. But for right now, what we're going to do very quickly is zip around and introduce ourselves just a little bit more. We want to make sure that as you come into the admissions office, you know us just a little bit, what our roles are. And so we'll go through. Let me start. And I'm John Wuorinen, Director of Admissions. And I started here as a fourth grader back in 1971-72. And now went off to college, came right back after. So I started teaching and coaching here back in 1984, held various roles throughout the school. And this is my 15th year in admissions. So I've got three sons who went here, graduated in 2012, 2013, and 2016. So I've got I kind of bleed maroon and gray here. So welcome, and Lisa.
Sure. So I started at Columbus Academy in the fall of 1993, and I taught pre-kindergarten for 24 years. And then I taught first grade for 4 years, and this is my second year in admissions. And I work with families who are interested in our early childhood grades. So that's our Explore program through first grade. I have a daughter that graduated from here just this past May. And then my other daughter, my younger daughter, is in 10th grade here. So I have that parent and faculty perspective for working in the admissions office.
Great.
Hi. I'm the Associate Director of Admissions. So I work with families that are interested in grades 2nd through 8th. And I have two children that attend Columbus Academy, one in 3rd grade, a daughter, and one in 1st grade, a son, and they're downstairs, hopefully being good. But prior to Columbus Academy, my family and I, we relocated to Columbus. I worked at a school up in New Canaan, Connecticut called St. Luke's, which was a 5 through 12 co-ed school. And then before that with the Spence School, which is an all-girls K through 12 school in Manhattan. Happy to be here. I have two brothers that graduated from Columbus Academy. So I kind of get the vibe from the two of them. I feel like through osmosis.
Yep. Well, and Academy is such a tight-knit community. What I should have mentioned is that I specialize actually in the upper school, grades 9 through 12, and also as the Director of Tuition Assistance, I focus on the financial aid aspect of things. So if any of you have questions about that piece, it's all confidential, and I look forward to talking to you about that. In addition, we have 3 members of the team who are not on camera right now. Anika, do you have a slide for us? Yeah, it looks like it's coming through. I'll introduce Chris Sia, who's on the left. Chris is a longtime parent here at Columbus Academy. She's been working in the admissions office for the last 4 years. But as I mentioned, she's been around for the last 20 years because she has 2 sons, Matthew and Alex, who graduated from Columbus Academy. They started here, they're both lifers, and Alex started here back in 1999. Before admissions, she's worked as a manager in the corporate world of insurance and financial services. She lives in Westerville and says that her car can drive itself back and forth to campus since she's made so many trips back and forth over the years. So she actually is our admissions assistant. So she sets up admissions tours, the shadow days, and helps us all stay organized. So you'll be speaking with Chris on the phone or via email when you contact the admissions office.
And then the newest member of our team is Anika. She's a data analyst, so she helps prepare reports related to applicant diversity and enrollment. She also helps me with all my technological weaknesses with the computer. So I really appreciate that. When out of the office, Anika enjoys spending time with her family and unwinding with reality TV, including 90 Day Fiance and competition baking shows.
And then last, but certainly not least, is Susan Carter. So Susan, like John and Lisa, has been here a long, long time. She previously served, her most recent role was the Dean of Students for middle school. Prior to that, she was involved with teaching. She was the founder and director of our after-school program, CASE. She's taught in the middle school. She's helped oversee a program in the middle school called DENS, which we can talk more about if you come on a tour. She has 2 sons that graduated from Columbus Academy, Ed, class of 96, and Matt, class of 2000. And her son, Matt, is also a teacher here in the 6th grade. And we're very excited to have Susan helping us in the office as well. She helps with our student interviewing process and also with our shadow days.
Yep. So before we get started talking just about admissions, I wanted to give a quick synopsis of what in the admissions office we call the 6 pillars. Just give you a quick idea of the things that make Columbus Academy very, very special. It's hard to keep it down to 6, but if we go ahead and think about that. 6 categories that when you come out to visit, you will surely see evidence of these 6 really strong foundational pieces of Columbus Academy in evidence. First and foremost, academics. The school has been since 1911 a very, very strong academic focused school. That the preparation for college and later life is really, that is the main focus. In addition, athletics. I'm running through these actually in chronological order. Again, the school's been around for about 111 years now. And so like any school, like any almost living organism, the school grows and changes with time. So first athletics, first academics, second athletics, and the focus on healthy mind, healthy body has been a consistent theme since the school's founding. Very, very successful athletic program here. In fact, the girls golf team, and it's only its 4th year in existence, last weekend won the state championship. So
Go Vikes.
yeah. So athletics, after academics, also the arts, a very, very strong art program. You'll see if you come out for a tour that the arts are alive and well here at Columbus Academy, both performing arts and studio arts. Great, great focus. We think creativity, we think artistic. The artistic endeavors are just crucial to life here, not just on campus, but the fulfillment of what we hope is a deep, rich life after graduation even. Community service. We have had a strong, strong commitment to community service. Christy Benning, who joined the school in 1986, is our department chair of service. I don't know of another school that actually has a department of service. And it is a continuous focus of the school. We have diversity and diversity work are incredibly important, another pillar of the school. Pascal Lasambe, Dr. Lasambe, if you get a chance to meet him, really spearheads the efforts that are a unifying force for the school. Finally, character and ethics. We've been around for 110 years, 111 years, and a consistent focus is not just excellence by any stretch. One needs the moral fiber, one needs the courage of conviction. And so 10th grade year, we have a morals class and an ethics class, and but we're working on that constantly through the growth of the children, even back to lower school, where Lisa will tell you all about CARES when you come, our CARES program, when you come for your tour. So those are the 6 pillars, and I know many of you have already been out to the school. We hope that you'll come and visit and see these things in action. But now we want to move on and talk just a little bit in general about the admissions process. So if Lisa, maybe you can start off and talk a little bit about the admissions process. And then there are lots of similarities between early childhood, later childhood and middle school, and then the upper school, but slight variations.
So to start off, if you were interested in learning more about Academy and possibly applying your child, you would complete an inquiry with our office, which can be done by visiting our website. Once that inquiry is processed, you will receive a username and password that allows you access to our admissions portal. And in our admissions portal is all of our application and admissions materials. There's an application that you complete. There's a parent questionnaire. There's also a teacher report that you would electronically send to your child's teachers, and your child's teachers can complete it and then send it back in. There's also information on tuition assistance if you would like to apply for that. You need information about that. Once a family has applied, no matter what grade you're in December, we will send you information for lower school families. In December, lower school applicants will have the opportunity, parents can register your child for a screening visit, which for lower school, those are held in January and the beginning of February. And we'll talk a little bit more about the screening visits a little bit later. When the parent questionnaire is completed, we like to have what we call a parent interview. It's more of a parent meeting, a parent conversation than it is interview. But it's a time for you as parents to meet with 2 of us from the admissions office after you've decided to move forward with applying. You've completed that questionnaire. It gives us a chance to learn a little bit more about your child and what you're looking for in an education for your child. And also you're welcome to ask us questions as well. Once your child has gone through screening, and we'll talk about the screening visits, they're a little bit different for each division. March 1st is when we send out our results to families as to whether or not your child has been accepted.
Great. Lauren, how about it? There are many similarities, as we say.
Well, I'll just make one distinction. So even though 5th grade is considered part of our lower school, families that are applying to 5th grade, like Lisa said, a screening visit, which takes place in January and February, our 5th graders do not come for that. 5th graders, students applying from 5th through 12th grade, will take a test called the ISEE test. And I know John can speak at length a bit about that. So I just thought I should mention that even though it is lower school, you'll have a different screening, I suppose, than an in-person one. But then students also come for a shadow day in middle school and upper school. Our middle school students, if you're applying to 6th grade, you'll shadow with your current grades. You'll shadow in the 5th grade. And so students that are applying, however, to their freshman year will spend some time in 8th grade and some time in with the freshmen. So they get a little bit of both.
Trying to make sure they know kind of who their classmates would be,
Yes.
in addition to getting a look at.
Yeah,
at
and
the other
absolutely. And so things like shadow days, Chris and Susan Carter help set up. So we try to get a sense of your students' interests and likes or dislikes or what they might want to see, specific class. So when you call to schedule that, please be sure to share as much information as you're willing. It's not a perfect match, but we try our best with our students. We launched a new program this year, formalized a program for student admissions ambassadors. So they're very eager to be buddied up with your students that are coming to look at us.
Yeah.
And Lauren, 5th grade, if you're applying to 5th grade, like Lauren said, you would take the IC test, but those students actually get to come and have a shadow day as well.
Yes.
With 4th grade students.
Correct.
Their current
Yes.
age.
Yes.
peer
Yes.
group.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for mentioning that. Yes.
And sometimes students are a bit nervous when they're coming in for a shadow day. So just one quick, just a quick comment. Two things that I would mention, and guys chime in when you want to, but first, everyone is a little bit nervous when they're coming. So that's a very standard piece. There's some excitement and, oh, I'm going to check out of school, but also might be a little bit nervous. Our students, Lauren mentions the student ambassadors. They are so excited when someone new comes. They get to show off their school. So anything parents that you can do to reduce that anxiety would be appreciated. They really will have a good time as they come. So you guys want to mention anything more about the Saturdays?
Oh, you know what, I'll mention, they end before lunch, except with the exception of the upper school kids, who will stay through lunch. I think that's about 1:30. Our middle school and then our lower school, those two grades, they'll end at 11:30. So sometimes, as John mentioned, with the nerves a little bit, that sometimes taking away that lunch break too.
Yeah.
Also helps.
And when they're here, typically it's Susan Carter is going to spend a little bit of time. Again, it's called a student interview. That makes it maybe sound a little intimidating and anxious time. It is not. Susan is an incredibly lovely, warm person, and it's not hard-hitting interview sort of. It's again a nice conversation. So something to really look forward to. Lisa, why don't you talk just a little bit about the screening for the lower school and how that works, and then Lauren and I will talk a little bit about for grades 5 and up.
Okay, so for Explorers, which is our youngest class that we have here, those are 3 and 4-year-old children. We have 4 Saturdays in January and early February that you can choose from. And on that day, you would bring your child. We have about up to 10 children that would come. And they play in the Explorer classrooms. We have 2 Explorer classrooms, and there will be 3 to 4 teachers in each classroom to interact and get to know your child. It lasts about an hour. While the children are playing and meeting with the teachers, we have a parent meeting upstairs for parents in the library. So parents stay on campus and close by the entire time. And while Explorers are in there, they're playing. The teachers have play activities set up for them. They engage and interact with them. They'll have a story. So it's kind of set up similar to like a school day or a school visit. For children in pre-K through 4th grade, there are different days during January and February during the school week that you would sign up. And on that day, you would bring your child about 8:30, and from 8:30 to 10, we actually use our dining hall facility that has several rooms in it. We set up a play area for students. For the younger students, we actually have a playroom. For the older students, 1st through entering 4th, they have more of a table with activities on there. So we get a chance to observe the children in a social setting. They'll also work one-on-one with the teacher. I know a lot of questions come up about, well, what does my child need to know for the screening part? And, we do look at math skills and language skills just to see where a child is, but we're also looking to see how they approach tasks. If they are asked something that they might be unsure of, how do they approach that? How do they persevere if they are maybe confused by a task? How do they take support from a teacher that's working with them? And we try to set it up as best we can like a school day, so they don't feel like they're coming to be tested or screened. And then that lasts for about an hour and a half. And again, while the students are engaged in their screening visit, we have a parent meeting for parents. And during that parent meeting, some of our administrators from lower school will come and speak with you. And then also we have some current parents that will come and talk with you, and you can ask questions, more parental perspective questions with that. But we do like to set it up like a school day, not like screening or testing. And so if you are bringing your child for that day, we would encourage you just to say, you know what, you're going to play and you're going to show people what you know. So just to make it very casual and comfortable for your child.
Great.
Yeah.
Lauren, you want to talk a little bit about the ISE?
I'll let you talk about it.
All right. The ISEE test is a national test. The ISEE stands for Independent School Entrance Exam. It's a test that, again, is given nationally, standardized test. It has 4 multiple choice sections, 2 that are math related, 2 that are verbal related. And each section, it varies a little bit in terms of the timing, but each section is roughly 30 minutes. And there are 4 answers. We encourage students to guess. The test is actually scored as if there are going to be no answers left blank. And then there's a 30-minute timed writing sample. It's all done on a computer. And so we have a number of sessions here that have that test go on in January and February, 1 in December, I think. Again, it's about a 3.5-hour test. So this is actually our 2nd year partnering with a company called Test Innovators. When a family applies to Columbus Academy, once that application is processed, we actually give the families a code that will allow you to log into Test Innovators test preparation software. It's all online, and the idea is we want to make sure there's as even a playing field as possible, that everyone has access to some test preparation materials. It's interesting because we give you this test prep, and so some families are saying, "Oh my gosh, I've got to do this test prep." Oh my, and we are offering it. We're like in so many different areas of Columbus Academy. We're trying to do a balancing act. We want students to be prepared for the test, but we are not trying to overstress them and make sure that, oh God, this is some high stakes test. There's plenty of time for high stakes test later. If you have questions about that preparation, as Lauren and I are working with your family, please let's delve into that. Let's talk about what sort of preparation your family is expecting and we're expecting, and that sort of thing. Please, we are offering this as a service, and hopefully again to level the playing field. So again, a really good idea to chat with us about that. Let's see, so we've talked about shadow days, we've talked about the screening, the recommendations that are required. We want them to have those come after Thanksgiving. Teacher recommendation.
Right.
There's no real rush because application materials are going to be due completed early February for that March 1st notification date. So we want to make sure that those teachers have your students' teachers have a chance to really get to know them before they write about them.
Just one thing I'll mention about the IC tests that John mentioned. We do offer it here 4 times, but you can also take it at home online. So if one of those 4 dates don't work for you, you can take it at home online. But then sometimes I have families will ask me if their child receives extra time. Can they have the extra time function here at school if they take it here? We don't offer extra time, but if you do take it online, you just have to process that request for extra time at home.
Yeah. We do have a chance for you all at home to be asking questions. There is a Q&A button that we encourage you to ask questions about, or is it a chat feature? I think it's Q&A. And we do have Anika Littell helping us man that question area. So please feel free to ask us some questions. What else should we?
We could talk about the transition, or why don't you talk maybe about what happens after March 1st?
Oh, okay, sure. And again, so yeah, in terms of the admissions process, there are 3 outcomes that are possible. There's an accept, and obviously we hope that everyone gets that good news. There is a regret, which means next year we will not be able to accept a student. If that happens, please give us a call. All 3 of us these are a bit uncomfortable conversations because obviously we've all got, you and the school have got a lot invested in this, but we are going to help as best we can pinpoint some areas for your student to work on if that's disappointing news that is delivered. It's about 20% of our student body here who've had to apply more than once to be accepted. We say that in hopefully a way to be helpful, because if you decide that your student, that Columbus Academy would be the right spot for your student, we want to help make that happen. So after March 1st, please don't hesitate to give us a call. There's also the third possibility for a result, a decision, is a waitlist status. If we want to be able to offer a student that spot, but space is a constraint, we will often place that student on the wait list. If that happens, please, again, call the office, call us, and we will talk through what that actually means. Depending on the different class, the different grades, there may be just a couple of students on a wait list, and really, hopefully, fingers crossed, there's some movement and we can make that happen. We will be very, very upfront with you about that situation. So please let us, again, the communication that Columbus Academy prides itself starts here in the admissions office. So
yeah, great.
You want to talk transition for a minute?
Sure. So families, after that March 1st date that John and Lisa have both mentioned, and I believe families have about 10 days to complete their contract. Sometime in late April, early May, we assign our new families a host family. And that's something that Lisa and John and I all work with some parent admissions ambassadors to help, match up families maybe in the same neighborhood. Maybe, they have similar sports interests for their children. And that's really a touch point for you throughout the late spring and early summer. So those host families, that's a big one. We'll also do for our lower school families, a lower school orientation in late May. Middle and upper school orientation is in early August. So those orientations you have to look forward to. And then in early August, we have a lower school popsicle party and scavenger hunt. And that's for our lower school students. Again, they come to us with their families. We meet on the playground of the lower school. There's a scavenger hunt for our students, and then they have an opportunity to play and to meet some other parents that are new there. Our Viking Corner, which is our spirit wear store, is usually open during that time too. So it's a great way to kind of get everybody in the idea that school is about to start again. And for many of our young students, they get a chance to get to know the school if they haven't come for a tour, or maybe they did come for a tour, but it's been 6 months since they've been here. It's a good time for them to really sort of see it. The lower school itself will do a separate, meet the teacher, ice cream social type event the day before school starts. So they'll have that opportunity. This is really just about community and getting to know some of the other new students. Am I forgetting anything, Lisa?
No, I don't think so. Yeah. And middle school and upper school also will have orientations for new students prior to the school year beginning too. So.
Yeah, much of that is student organized, particularly at the upper school level,
right.
By student council. Anika, it looks like there might be a question. I see something in the. Can you read the question to us, perhaps? Is there a question?
Yeah, someone started an application last year for 7th grade, so they want to know if they needed to start the application process over again for 8th grade.
Yes. So yes, you will need to apply again this year. Families that received a waitlist decision last year also need to reapply. If you're reapplying, reach out to our office. We can also give you a waiver code for that application fee. But yes, if you are applying again this year, you do have to fill out a new application. Some of the items we can bring forward from last year. So if you filled out the parent questionnaire, we can pull that part forward, but you would need to resubmit new teacher recommendations, a new transcript, and things like that. But parts of it we can use. But yes, the application is one. Great question. Yeah.
Good. Any other question there, Anika?
Not right now.
Okay. Well, it's 12:30, and so again, as we're finishing up, please feel free to ask any questions that you want. But we want to finish up by mentioning a couple things. Next week, next Monday, we have another Zoom at noon on outdoor education here at Columbus Academy. We have 231 acres, and so we'll have a couple of folks with us who specialize in getting outside. And then the following Monday, we will have our college counselors here. It's interesting because we're going to be talking, a lot of the outdoor education is particularly earmarked for the lower school, and then suddenly we're going to shift to the upper school and our college counseling. So those will go on again noon on Mondays. We'd love to have you join us for those. They will be recorded, and we can send those out. In addition, starting November 1st, we have our Viking visits. Those are group tours, Tuesdays and Thursdays through December. Tuesdays are the lower school, and then Thursdays are grades 6 through 12, middle school and upper school. Those start at 8:30 in the morning. Quick tours around the school. And then finally, we have on November 30th, an admissions showcase that will go on at 7:30 in the, 7 o'clock, thank you, 7 in the evening. And a chance for a tour of the school and to chat with different personnel around the school, trying to make sure that we are as accommodating to parents as we can. We've got many who can make a day trip out here, but we want to make sure that if by chance you need the evening time, that we're doing that.
And you're also welcome to schedule an individual tour with one of us in the grade levels that we take care of. And we do encourage you, if you can come during a school day. It's always more exciting when the children and teachers are here and you get to see everything in action. So you can do that as well. Just call the office and we can schedule a tour.
Sure. And often for the older grades, parents will come for a tour while their student is having a shadow day.
Yes.
So feel free to marry those two.
And then we have another question that came in. Once applications are completed, when are you notified to set up a screening visit? For lower school, so that would be if you're applying for the Explorer program through 4th grade, we will reach out to those families in the beginning of December with directions on how to use our online scheduler to schedule your child's screening visit. That would be for January or early February. And then for the IC tests.
For the IC test, you can register for that on your own through the ERB website, erblearn.org. And that will direct you to a registration page where you will see our option as a drop down, or other schools, I suppose, in the area that might be offering it as well. You can register for that anytime. You don't have to wait to have your application in. You will need to submit the application, however, in order, like John said, to receive the Test Innovators link. And I just want to echo what John said in terms of that Test Innovators. For the kids in 5th and 6th grade, if it's their first time taking a standardized test, it's nice to just see some sample questions, because I think that will also quell some of the anxiety too, if they kind of have a sense of what questions might be asked. So that's another way to utilize the service.
Perfect.
And then to schedule the shadow days for middle and upper school, you would call the office to schedule those.
Great. Well, thank you all very much for joining us today. We hope that you'll come out and look at Columbus Academy and chat with us. We appreciate your time today.
Thanks. Thank you.
Bye-bye.